So there have been so many Scream 7 updates, and I have not been in the loop at all for this. I've had a lot of other things that I've been filming, a lot of other things I've been focused on. Of course, I've been seeing some of the stuff, but I don't know what to believe. Of course, people will like speculate, and then they'll say it's fact, and then it's not really fact, and then this person said that this person's returning, and these people aren't coming back, and like, it's like chaos, and I can't keep up with it. Even with all the chaos, I took a minute to look into all of the information that's come out for this movie. A lot has happened, and I didn't even know about half of it. So it makes me wonder why they're saying so much in advance, because like, why aren't you waiting till it's a little bit closer to the movie to be revealing all of this stuff? One thing that really bothers me that these Scream movies always seem to do is that they give away so much in advance and in the trailers with the pictures that come out, and I don't really like it. I feel like with all this information I was finding out while researching, I shouldn't be knowing all of this stuff. Specifically when I get to one of the things that I'm a little bummed that they would even say or mention. I think they're giving away too much information right now, specifically with how far away this movie still is. Like, it's not coming out till 2026. Whether or not they're saying too much, I'm excited for the movie. I'm definitely really intrigued because some of this information I was hearing, I'm like, that is not possible. So how are they gonna be doing that? How are they gonna make that work? It's so odd because they're like blending every part of the Scream franchise together for this movie. Like back from the beginning, back from the ending of the original series, from Scream 4 potentially, from the new Scream 5, Scream 6, and it's like, this movie to me right now sounds a little bit like a mess, but hopefully it will come together and it will be really good, which of course I'm gonna go see it. Of course I'm excited about it. So I'm gonna be talking about some of the things that I've heard that are gonna be in this movie, give my opinion on it, and only time will tell if this is actually what's gonna be in this movie or not. Part of the problem I was having while researching all this is that articles would say like, oh, this is confirmed 100%, and then I look up to try to find the original thing where they're like saying that this is true, and I couldn't find any of the people saying it. So it's like, I'm worried that some of this information is not actually like 100% and people are just saying it's 100%, but I'm gonna give what I've found. Potentially some of this might not be true. I feel like a lot of people are saying these things are 100% when what I was looking through, nothing I saw was like a guarantee. I don't know. I'm a little confused, but I'm just gonna say what I found. We've known for a while now that the Carpenters are not gonna be in this movie and Sidney Prescott will be the new lead. This is kind of frustrating just because they were making their story and now it's like cut off a little bit early in my opinion. But obviously having Sidney Prescott back is great. We love Sidney Prescott, she is Scream. I have no complaints with that. I can't believe she's returning, like I'm still in shock. We've already known this for a while, but I'm just restating everything that's new for this Scream 7 movie. While I am excited to have Sidney back, it is a little weird to not have her Scream 6 and then have her show up in Scream 7. I feel like the way that's gone is a little bit odd. But Neve Campbell has been in the Scream franchise for so long, I'm sure she'll naturally just go back into her role. So I don't have any huge complaints about that or how that went down. Like, there's only so much they could do, so whatever. One of the things I learned that I was not super happy about is that Mark Kincaid is not going to be in this movie. Apparently they're getting a different actor to play Sidney's husband, and it's going to be Mark Evans instead of Mark Kincaid. I think this is a huge mistake. I think they should have gotten Patrick Dempsey in the movie. Like, why are they not doing that? I guess he didn't want to come back, and like, you got to continue without him if he's not willing to come back. So if that's the case, like, there's only so much you can do about it. But like, if they just didn't want to get him back, like do the effort of getting him back, that's ridiculous. I really think this movie would have benefited from him being in it. Obviously the screenplay writing had it in mind that he was her husband, so I'm a little disappointed with that. This casting of her husband isn't that big of a deal, but I just feel like I would have really preferred it to be Mark Kincaid. I do understand though if they weren't able to get him back to Scream. I don't know why he wouldn't do it when he was just in Thanksgiving a couple years ago, which was kind of like the same thing, but like not as popular. So that is kind of surprising that he wouldn't want to do Scream 7. I just don't believe that. I don't have any information on his reasoning for not being in this movie, but if they just recast it for fun, I think that was a mistake. The next thing that I do think is a good thing is that the twins are going to be returning to Scream. I'm honestly shocked about this one. You know, the other two leaving the franchise on a not very positive note. These two I assumed would not be returning as well just because that storyline was out. It's kind of interesting to see side characters come in when the main characters that they're more associated with are no longer in the franchise. I don't really see how they're gonna fit in with this movie. Like, I'm a little confused how those stories are gonna mix. Obviously, they're having Sidney's family with casting her husband. I've seen casting for her children, which hopefully they won't die because that would be really unfortunate. But having the twins in there just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The only way I see that working is if they were like the opening kill, which would be really interesting and very reminiscent of the opening of Scream 3, where Cotton Weary dies because he was a returning character who was big in the previous movie, and then his arc was done. At this point, the twins don't really have much to do. Like, they've already faced Ghostface and their friends are gone. So, like, what else are they gonna do in this movie? I just don't see them doing anything but being killed off. And it's like, that kind of sucks. I don't really want them to get killed off, but they don't really serve a purpose now without those other characters in the movie. So it's a little interesting. I definitely prefer them in the movie. I think they're fun. I think also since they are a part of those Scream 5 and 6 movies, they'll be able to kind of tie up that storyline with these two characters instead of the two leads. Probably would have been better with the two leads, but you know what? If they want to return to Scream, they're getting a paycheck. So at the end of the day, take the money, I guess. I've been seeing a lot on the twins returning, and I haven't seen anything saying that Kirby is returning for sure. I saw one thing saying that she's definitely not returning, that she turned it down, and I saw another thing saying that she was definitely returning. So I was a little confused with what her status was in this movie. I don't think it's official or unofficial. I think it's just not been said yet. It doesn't look like she's probably going to be in it if they haven't confirmed her returning. Like, they've confirmed everyone else returning, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm a huge fan of Kirby. I'm a huge fan of Hayden Panettiere. I understand that her role in Scream 6 was severely underwritten, and a lot of people didn't love her in that movie. I personally didn't either. But I love the character, and I feel like they could still use her character. I don't think her not being good in Scream 6 makes her not able to be good in Scream 7, if that makes sense. Like, they're already going back to so many movies by bringing so many different actors back from previous movies. Like, you might as well bring in Scream 4 too, because she's the only one from Scream 4 that would come in. I don't know. I really want her in the movie. I know she loves Scream, and I know she's not busy doing the Until Dawn movie right now because they didn't put her in it for some reason. But I really think she should be in this movie. Like, I'm a huge fan. I know Kirby has a lot of big fans, and I hope she is in it. But I didn't see anything confirming that, so that was unfortunate. I think, honestly, this next thing is the thing I was most shocked about seeing. Like, I just didn't even, like, consider it being a possibility. Apparently, Scott Foley is returning to this movie as Roman Bridger. And it's like, first of all, I'm not a huge fan of Roman personally. He's my least favorite Ghostface. I've voiced that quite a bit. I know a lot of people like him, but I personally don't, and I don't see the reason to bring him into this movie. I think a lot of people critique that motive in Scream 3 with the brother, and like that's why people don't like the movies, because that is a little bit of a stretch. So why they would bring that in, I'm not sure. But the bigger issue with that is that Roman is dead. Like, he's definitely dead. He got shot in the forehead and stabbed, but he literally got shot in the forehead. So there's no way he's alive. And the only way that they can bring him back is if they either like have him as a ghost Billy type character, or if they have him like Randy, where he's on video or something. Maybe Sidney is going through a house and she finds a video of Roman saying that Stu is alive or something. I don't know. But like, that would be the only reason he could come back. If they have him come back alive, that makes no sense. So I really hope they don't do that. Even people who are fans of Roman, I feel like would say like he's definitely dead. You know, Stu, I can see how that one is like maybe he didn't die. Even Jill, like I can see how maybe she didn't die because she wasn't shot in the head, she was shot in the chest. But like shot to the forehead, you're gone. And I don't even know who was asking for Roman to come back. Like I never saw anyone be like, please Roman, come back to the franchise. I've never seen that once. Obviously, the Stu thing is huge, which I'll get to that in a second, and people are, like, begging for that, but no one has ever said, I really want Roman back in the franchise. I don't believe. Even the people who are really big fans, like, he obviously died. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of that choice. Maybe if it's, like, on video, that would be cool if she finds some video of him saying something about that, and then it reveals that Stu's still alive. I think that would be cool, but other than that, I don't see how that makes any sense. Okay, and now the biggest news that's come out for this movie. Apparently, it's confirmed that Stu Macher is going to be returning to Scream 7. There has been a couple things confirming this, although I wasn't able to find anything that like actually fully like said, yes, this is 100%. I saw some things that were saying that Matthew Lillard said he was 100% returning. I could not find any of this. There were all these things saying that they had announced it somewhere. I wasn't able to find any of that. So please someone let me know if this was actually like done, because I was researching for a while and couldn't find anything 100% confirming that was a reliable source from the people making the movie. But recently Matthew Lillard posted to his Instagram a video of him writing out one of Stu's most famous lines. Here's what I think about this whole situation. First of all, I think that this is the moment for them to do something like this. I think all the drama of Scream 7 has opened up the door for them to do a move like this that they've been wanting to do but never have. Like, this is the perfect time for Stu Macher to return if they were ever gonna do it. Like, the leads are gone, they're going back to Sydney. This would probably be the moment where it could kind of flow the most naturally. I was outspoken in the past about how I didn't think that Stu was alive. I didn't want him to return to the franchise. I thought it would not be done super well. I think with the Carpenters now being out and them going in a different direction with the franchise, definitely makes me more accepting of Stu being alive, just because I think that would tie up the franchise really well. A while back I went on the popular Scream channel, Craven Something Scary, and he is very pro Stu. He's the honorary leader of the Stu train, and I did say on his show that I had joined the Stu train. Now with the Carpenters gone, and I'm like, what are they gonna do with this movie? I think I've joined the Stu train because
Hey!
there's no other real explanation I feel like would be good enough to go out of the way. I honestly do think that it would be a really neat tie-up to the franchise with him coming back. They already wanted to do it. I do appreciate that Matthew Lillard has been so outspoken about, like, if Stu was to return to the franchise, he wants it to make sense to the story and be worth it. Like, if that doesn't happen, then I can't, like, accept it. Like, that's not good. So the only way that it would work and, like, I'd be okay with it is if it does flow naturally and it does make sense to the story and it kind of like doesn't seem so random and makes sense. I know there's a lot of people who really want this. I definitely am not against it. I just want it to make sense and to be a good movie, if that makes sense. I'm saying that like he's not guaranteed to come back, which usually when they post something on Instagram like that, that's a saying like, oh, he's coming back to this movie. Like, there's no way he'd post that if he wasn't coming back to Scream 7. I will say, while I am pro Stu coming back at this point, I think them revealing that this early with him posting was a huge mistake. I feel like they should have Spider-Man'd it, where we all knew that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were gonna be in the new Spider-Man movie, but they didn't, like, say it or have them post anything or whatever so that people would be hyped to go find out if they were in the movie. And this, they're allowing Matthew Lillard to post on his Instagram about the movie, and it's like, I think they shouldn't have said anything. I think this should be a huge reveal in the movie, and like people going in knowing that Stu's in it, like that takes away from it a little bit. Like, that should be the huge reveal, and they've already revealed it. So why in the world would they reveal that a year in advance of this movie coming out? Like, that makes no sense to me. And I think that already is a huge mistake. The shock on all the fans' faces when Stu is in this movie and no one was expecting it would have just been like so awesome. And I feel like they took that away. Even if they don't like fully confirm it, like him posting this Instagram, I just don't think they should have done that. They're probably just wanting to make sure people go see this movie because of all the drama. So they're like, oh, if they know that Stu's in the movie, they'll go see it. But honestly, I think the hype would have built up from the wondering of if Stu was gonna be in this movie. I don't think it was necessary to reveal something so big. But even with that, of course, I would be excited to see Stu in the movie. I think that would be really neat. And all these crazy things that have come out about this movie, I am very curious which of these are actually true, because I don't necessarily trust everything I've been seeing, because everyone's got their opinions and theories, and then there's the things that people have found out, but maybe they don't know. You never know if they're tricking us, like the Scream makers might be tricking us into thinking other things. Really, only time will tell what is actually going to be seen in this movie. I am pretty excited to see it because I'm just so curious. Like, I have no idea how all of these things I've heard are gonna work for Scream, but someone's gonna write it and someone's gonna hopefully make it good. I hope it ties up all the loose ends in a really good way and it doesn't just like have a bunch of random people and scenes that like don't make sense. But as a huge Scream fan, of course, I will give it a chance and I will go see it. And I am excited about some of these things I've heard about the movie. But that's all the updates for today. Goodbye.